What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today, we're taking a look at the first cards revealed from Battle Partners. This is an IRL TCG set coming out pretty soon here in Japan, and it's going to be part of our Journey Together set, which comes out in March over here in the States. And this is going to be our set for the new year, where we are going to have rotation. The first tournament where these cards will probably be legal will be the Atlanta Regional Championships in April, most likely. But we're getting a sneak peek here at some of the cards coming out in this set. We saw a few of them already from that trailer at Worlds back in August, but now we're getting to see more of the cards revealed, which is really exciting. Obviously, this is the return of trainer Pokemon, which is super exciting. That's always been a fun mechanic in the TCG, and excited to see them coming back here. So we're going to take a look at some of these cards, talk about some of their competitive viability going forward when they release, and I'm excited to see some of these new mechanics in the game. So first off, we're going to start with the Ends Pokemon, then we'll talk about Lily's Pokemon, and then we'll talk about Iono's Pokemon, because they're kind of they all kind of work together with their trainer. So we're going to start with N, and then we'll go on to the rest. So starting with N, we have N's Darumaka revealed. It is a basic, but the main point of this card is it evolves up into N's Darmanitan, a stage 1 with the backdraft attack that says it does 30 damage for each basic energy card in your opponent's discard pile. This is for 2 colorless energy, which I think is actually important as we see some cards down the list as well. And then it has the Darmanican attack for Fire colorless. It does 90 damage and you discard all energy from this Pokemon. This attack also does 90 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So N's Pokemon have a bench sniping attack, which is really important because, as far as we know, with Manaphy rotating, our only bench barrier is on a stage 1 Rabsca. So bench barrier is a lot harder to have post-rotation because Manaphy is rotating unless we get another basic Pokemon that protects your bench. It doesn't look like we're going to get that for now, which means this Darmanican's Darmanican attack could be very strong. Now, the whole appeal of N's Pokemon right now is the N's Zoroark that we saw back at Worlds. First, we have the N Zorua, 70 HP. 1 retreat cost, and attack for 20 damage. And then N's Zoroark EX. It has 280 HP on a stage 1 EX. Has the trade ability, classic Zoroark ability, where you must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. So great built-in draw power for the N's Pokemon. And then it's got the Night Joker attack for 2 dark energy. Choose one of your benched N's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So we can, for 2 dark energy, copy the attacks of the Darmanitan, right? And we could use the Darmanican to do a 90-90 bench snipe, or that 30 damage for each energy in our opponent's discard pile. We also have the N's Reshiram with the powerful rage attack that says this attack does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So let's say a Charizard EX hits into Zoroark at the start of the game, does 180 damage to it. We can attack back with powerful rage for 360 and one-shot the Charizard. An important trainer card that pairs with the N's Pokemon is N's PP Up. When you get N's PP Up in your hand, you can you can use it to attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched N's Pokemon. So this is acting like a dark patch, essentially, for only N's Pokemon, but it can be any type of basic energy. So it can be the dark energies, it can be the fire and lightning energy if you're trying to power up Reshiram for some reason, but really mostly it's probably always going to be those dark type energies. And the reason this card is important is not only can we power up our Zoroark this way, but we're going to have Darmanitan on the bench anyway to use its attacks with Zoroark to copy those attacks. And the fact that the backdraft attack is colorless means that this is technically a 1 prize attacker that we can use in the N Zoroark deck. That could do a decent amount of damage, and because it's colorless, even if we're only playing dark energy in the deck, we can power up this Darmanitan and use that attack. There's one more Pokemon that I skipped over that is an Ends Pokemon, and it's Ends Sigilif. It has the victory symbol attack for Psychic colorless, and if you use this attack when you only have 1 prize card remaining, you win this game. So that is interesting for sure. I don't know how relevant that is. Obviously, you could get in situations where, you have one prize left, and for some reason you just can't take that last prize card, and victory symbol could win you the game. But with so much draw power from the Zoroark's trade ability and all that stuff, I don't think those sorts of situations are going to come up often where you can't find a way to gust or something like that to take that final prize card. So I would imagine that End Sigil might not see much play, but I could be wrong. So I'm just going to scroll down here, make sure that's all of the Ends Pokemon. Yeah, that is all of the Ends Pokemon. I have a few concerns about it right now. I think we need to see some more attackers. If these are all the attackers that we have for End Zoroark, then I'm a little concerned. There's too many ways to one-shot Zoroark. First of all, it's weak to grass, which is a problem because Ogerpon is grass and very good. You just teal dance to it, one-shot Zoroarks. And the problem with one-shotting Zoroarks is it seems to be the best attacker for the Zoroark is this Ends Reshiram. And if you are just one-shotting Zoroarks, they're never getting damage counters on them, and it can never use this powerful rage attack too effectively. So Teal Mask Ogerpon is a problem. Raging Bolt is a problem. Charizard is a problem because they just Dusknoir KO you. Even if you haven't taken any prize cards yet, it's pretty easy for them to just set up damage on you and then KO you with the Charizard. So you probably are like really leaning heavily into the Darmanitan against something like the Charizard deck, where you're trying to bench snipe them and take extra prizes early game on their basic Pokemon. Make sure that they don't get like a Pidgeot or something out. The problem with this is the Darumaka has 80 HP, so you can't find it with Buddy Buddy Poffin, and you're going to need to evolve your Zoroark, attach for turn, or use Ends PP up. You got to get Ends PP up so that you can use Ends Darmanitan's Darmanicannon attack, and then you got to evolve in the Darmanitan to have it on your bench to copy it with Ends Zoroark. Obviously, there is a lot of draw power in the deck with Ends Zoroark, but I think there are some issues with the deck. Having 80 HP on the Darumaka is really unfortunate. Not being able to get that out with Buddy Buddy Poffin could be a problem. But Ends PP up seems like a good card. The Darmanicannon attack is obviously good. Backdraft could be good in certain situations. Obviously, Raging Bolt will have a lot of energy in the discard pile. Gardevoir could have a good amount of energy in the discard pile if that's still a thing after losing Kirlia post-rotation. Ceruledge, if that's a deck, hates Ends Darmanitan for sure. So, yeah, a cool card. Reshiram's cool as well. And the trade ability has never really been bad in the TCG. So, Ends Zoroark could be very good. I just think we might need one more pretty good attacker for the deck to really come together. Now, moving on to Iono's Pokemon. Iono has a Tadbulb and Bellibolt EX. The Bellibolt EX has the Electric Streamer ability. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic Lightning Energy card from your hand to one of your Iono's Pokemon. So very strong ability, but limited only to Iono's Pokemon. And then the Bellibolt EX has the Thunderous Bolt for 3 Lightning and a colorless. Does 230 damage, and during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So really strong ability, fairly strong attack. And then we have a few more attackers for Iono or Pokemon. We have the Iono's Wattrel and Kilowattrel. The Kilowattrel has the Flash Draw ability. You must discard a basic Lightning Energy from this Pokemon in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So a good draw ability. You're discarding a basic Lightning Energy from this Pokemon instead of from your hand, which is kind of annoying, but because of the Bellibolt's ability to just attach as many Lightning Energy as you want during your turn to your Iono's Pokemon, that seems fine. You can just set up a bunch of energy on Kilowattrel, 2 or 3, and make sure that you're using Flash Draw every turn. So that seems pretty cool. And then the Kilowattrel has the Mach Bolt attack for 70. That's relevant just because that can knock out a Mimikyu if that is a problem in the post-rotation format. Then for Iono, it's not specifically an Iono card, but it obviously pairs well with the Bellibolt. We have the Levincia Stadium. Once during each player's turn, that player may put up to 2 basic Lightning Energy cards from the discard pile into their hand. So really strong for the Bellibolt to be able to continue streaming those Lightning Energy attachments. I also think this stadium is really interesting for Goldango post-rotation. Obviously, Goldango loses Pokestop, so playing a couple more Lightning Energy in the Goldango deck could be interesting with the Levincia because it's just like an energy retrieval every turn to get those Lightning Energies back. So that is pretty cool. So those are Iona's Pokemon. I don't know that that's the strongest. Uh, those are the strongest cards. Just thinking about the other things that we have in format right now. The one thing that's cool with the Belly Bolt, obviously, we could use energy switch. It's just flooding a ton of energy into play. So we could use energy switches. We could use Thornton's. We could use Thornton's going to be gone. We could use energy switches. We could use Scramble Switch, the Ace Spec. To get energy onto other Pokemon like Iron Hands or something like that, and Poppy as well for moving energy around. So that could be potentially interesting. Then moving on to Iono's Pokemon, or not Iono's Pokemon. We just talked about Iono's Pokemon. Lily's Pokemon. We have Lily's Clefairy EX. Has the ability Fairy Zone. The weakness of each of your opponent's Dragon Pokemon play is now Psychic. That would have been really good in the current format where Regidrago is really strong. I guess we'll have to wait and see what dragon types are really strong post-rotation. Dragapult could be a thing, although I'm not totally sure that Dragapult is strong enough post-rotation, but we'll see if there are any good, really, really strong dragon decks post-rotation. Raging Bolt obviously is still around as well. This ability could be very strong on the Lily's Clefairy EX. And then it has the Full Moon Rondo attack. This attack does 20 more damage for each benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So it can do up to 220 damage. If there are full benches, even more than that, if somebody has an Area 0 in play and the benches are wider. And on top of that, it can hit for weakness on Dragon Pokemon, which is pretty cool. Moving on, we have Lily's Comfy. It's got the Flower Call attack for one colorless. Search your deck for any number of basic Lily's Pokemon and put them onto your bench. So that's a really, really strong setup attack for Lily's Pokemon. Just getting all your basics out, turn one going second. That is super duper strong. And then the final card that we have revealed for Lily's Pokemon is Lily's Pearl. If the Lily's Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an opponent's Pokemon's attack, your opponent takes one fewer prize card. So limiting the amount of prize cards your opponents can take with the Lily's Pearl tool card can be very strong. Obviously, if we have great ways of searching out tool cards with things like Arven right now. And then post-rotation, we lose Lost to Vacuum, so really probably the best way to turn off tools is going to be that Jamming Tower Stadium. So we kind of lose a good way of getting rid of tools. So this could be pretty strong, but yeah, we haven't seen like a lot of really, really strong attackers from Lily's Pokemon, so I'm not expecting that to be super good either. So all in all, my thoughts on these cards is they seem a little bit underpowered right now compared to what we have in the format, although they do seem really cool. And we are losing some power level to rotation, so these cards could fit in fine after rotation potentially. But we do still have things like Dusknoir, Terapagos, Charizard, all those things that can just really be fast and aggressive. And even though they might lose some consistency from rotation, there are other ways to build those decks to keep them strong. And I think that some of these cards just might not be able to stand up to some of the other cards that we've gotten in the Scarlet and Violet era, like Charizard, for example, like Raging Bolt against Zoroark. That seems like a tough matchup for Zoroark potentially. So yeah, all in all, these cards are really cool. I'm excited to see how they fit into the meta. I'm excited to get more reveals from the set because I think we just need like a little more oomph to these cards to make sure that they're very strong. But let us know what you thought about these cards in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.